Dopey dope.
We're back.
Episode 4.
Tired Dad podcast.
Tired Dad body. Sheesh, no joke, man.
I got probably between 4 and 5 hours, probably closer to the 4-hour sleep mark, because kids.
Yeah.
I know you have 4 of your own, but I'm willing to, I can throw in the youngest one.
Are we bartering kids right now?
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to get more kids. Like, I'm not saying, like, let's trade kids. But if you have, like a car or something, an iPad.
An iPad. Let's see, I don't know, man. I don't think I have anything.
If you had to trade one kid, which one? I'm just kidding.
Hit the intro.
Yeah, no, it was a rough night. He was not feeling good, and those moments where you're just looking at the clock, like, I'm not gonna get any sleep.
Yeah,
and you just see it just seems like time just starts speeding up, and you're
absolutely.
like, I swear it was 5 minutes ago, but no, it was an hour ago. I lost an hour of not sleep. Yeah, so
no, I've been there. I've done that. So recently here where we live, we've had some snowstorms which have caused us to have 2-hour delays.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. And so we also help out a friend. I take her kids to school in the morning. But on Friday she has a day off, so she doesn't take her kids or doesn't bring her kids to our house. So I shut my alarms off.
Yeah.
And this morning I had to, I woke up in a panic at like 6:30. One of her kids needs to catch the bus at 7 o'clock. And I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, what time is it? Grab my phone, go to my clock app, my alarm, and realize that I have no alarm set for the day.
Oh my gosh.
None. I absolutely forgot that I shut them off on Friday.
Yep.
And had to set my alarms and closed my eyes. At that point, my mind is racing and running.
Right.
So that's how that happened after a late night last night at church, and it was an early morning. Daylight savings time is not my friend.
Not this one, at least.
Yeah, no, the spring forward is not enjoyable.
No, I agree. Am I the only one that still, even though it doesn't affect me at all, nothing changes, but when I hear 2-hour delay, like snow day, I'm like, oh my, but like something inside of me still gets excited. But I'm like, wait, no, I still have to go to work. I've been driving this.
Yeah. Work doesn't care about the snow.
You
hear a 2-hour delay and you instantly want to run up to the kids and be like, let's go build a snowman. Oh my gosh, let's go snowball fight. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't understand what's going on in our neck of the woods. The fact that we're officially in March and we're still like questioning, like, is it gonna snow? Are we gonna is there gonna be ice on the roads? I don't understand at all what's happening.
Yeah.
Climate change is real. I feel like we should have cared about it. Why hasn't anybody talked about climate change?
Well, and I feel like it's a little bit misleading. They say global warming.
It's not warm here.
It's not warm here. It's snowing. So all of these places that are supposed to be getting snow are getting snow. And I think there's a place in California that's gotten like over 100 inches of, they're basically buried alive.
Good.
In snow.
That's God's damnation on California.
Did you just say good?
You Californians.
We just lost all of the listeners in California.
You Californians know you guys deserve that for sure. I have a friend. This is the second time I've talked about him, and he gets a big head about it. His name's Tom. Yes, I'm talking about you, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
You're famous. Yeah,
we get it. Is it the same Tom from MySpace that wanted to be my friend?
It's him.
He's
officially my friend.
Oh my gosh, Tom, we've been friends for years.
So Tom, he was him and I were talking, and this was a couple weeks ago when it was longer than that. It was like when it was really cold here. I'm talking like single digits,
single negatives.
Yeah. Where it's stupid cold, right? So cold you just get angry at life because you're just like, this is awful, right? And he he had the audacity
Ugh.
to tell me how cold it was in Southern California. Now, granted, I understand he had to put a sweater on actually, and not for style.
Heaven forbid.
But,
Yeah.
but don't you ever tell me about cold when
Oh my
I'm out
gosh.
here free. Like, I don't warm up my car for 5 minutes. It's like 15
It's like
minutes.
15
It's like,
yeah, close to half an hour just to get that thing up to temperature.
I had to keep my gas tank full just so I could keep my car
Just so you
warm.
can warm up your car.
So yeah, it's real out here. I don't know what's happening in our part of the state, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, no, not a fan at all. Yeah, 2-hour delays are real. This snow. The nice thing is that it snows in the morning, enough for a 2-hour delay.
Yeah.
And then it melts.
This is
The
true.
the downfall to that is the driveway that I have is dirt. So when it melts, all that turns into mud.
Yeah.
So now my car has it looks like I go off-roading every day.
Right. Well, and
So-
you pull out. You go to Walmart and step out, and they're like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Yeah.
This Mexican in his money car.
Well, what makes it worse is my kids feel like that's an open invitation and an open canvas as a
To
art
write on it?
project.
Yeah. Wash me.
Yeah, well, not
Help.
quite yet.
Help. We've been.
It's
stolen.
smiley faces.
Oh, okay.
And dogs and cats, and I'm like,
Innocent.
what in the world?
I could think of a couple other things I would draw on your car right
yeah,
now.
I bet. Yeah, I'm sure you would. Maybe one of the reasons why I have a minivan.
Hey.
Oh my goodness!
All right.
all right.
You want to get into some of this
Let's
stuff?
Get into some of these stories.
All right. You sent me a fun
So
one.
I did. I sent you one about a lady who sold her first generation iPhone. It was unboxed, unpackaged. It was still in the cellophane all the way through and through. Like it was brand new.
Yeah.
In the box.
Like the fat box
the
too.
the big old.
it came with-
when they used to give you a charger
And they
with
gave
your
you headphones.
yeah, the
and
whole,
yep.
and the sticker.
Yep. The sticker,
It's a
right?
sticker that went everywhere. Apparently,
yeah.
there's very many. There's a lot of Apple Priuses and
Right.
minivans out there somewhere with the Apple logo on it.
Well, and the iPhone, and we'll get to how much she sold it for, but I just want to take a quick second down memory lane because I remember when the iPhone came out, and I was so hyped because I was already an avid Apple user.
Yeah.
I already had a Mac and I was sold out, and so as soon as the iPhone dropped, I was like, I need this phone. But do you recall how many gigs the first iPhone was?
So I know only because of the story.
Okay, did you?
But
have
I
it?
had no idea. So I became an Apple user. I believe the iPhone 4.
So that's when you truly
That's when I became.
gave your heart to the Lord. Is when
That's when I became saved.
Okay.
Yes, in 2000, I don't know, 10 or whenever that came out.
iPhone
who knows
4
when that
would have
came
been,
out.
Yeah, that's right.
But here's the
2007,
thing:
yeah.
is what led me to that was I was an Android user, and
Lord.
we had our phones plugged in, and my wife, either my wife or I had it under a pillow, and I pulled it out, and it said the temperature was too hot. It literally almost caught on fire.
Oh my gosh.
And so we're like, okay, we got to figure something out.
Straight from hell.
Oh,
See, out here killing people. iPhone saves lives. Matter of fact.
yeah.
I don't know how, but we'll figure that out. So 8 gigs. That's
So
what we're
8
talking about.
gigabytes.
8 gigs.
8 gigabytes.
And the story says that the phone sold in 2007 for like $600.
Yes,
For
$600.
8 gigs,
Yes,
bro.
for 8 gigs, $600. I currently have a iPhone 14 Pro Max, humble brag,
Okay.
with 128
Yeah.
gigs
Yeah. Dude.
for I think what are they $1,000? I don't know how much they are. $1,000. I don't
I mean,
know.
chump change,
I
right?
make payments
Yeah,
on
no,
it.
we
It's-
all do,
yeah,
bro.
it's-
Anybody out here just dropping
just
$1,000 on
buying
a
one,
phone?
just
Like,
going to the Apple store and be like,
What is your
"What
life?"
this? $1,000? Sure, why not?
and you're going to the Apple store as
Yeah,
well. Like,
yeah.
who's going to the Apple store?
Yeah.
I'm out here on Craigslist. Like, hey man, how much you trying to sell
How
that
much you trying-
refurbished iPhone 13
iPhone
for?
13. Yeah. No, she sold it for $63,000.
Good
It was
Lord.
like $63,340. I don't know how they got the change in there.
Yeah.
$345 and like 14 cents. But yeah, no. And so her story behind it was that she had just upgraded her current phone to a non-smartphone, and her friends, she'd gotten a promotion, and her friends wanted to give her a gift, and the gift was the new iPhone.
Yeah.
And so they gathered up all the money and gave her this new iPhone, and she was like, I like it. It's awesome, but I just upgraded my phone. I don't want to switch from this carrier to this carrier.
Right.
And so she said, I'm just going to save it. And at that point that she wanted to save it, it was a matter of, I want to save this just because in case I need it.
Yeah.
And then after a few years, she was like, I want to save this because now it might be worth something.
Yeah.
And then she was like, this is absolutely worth something to somebody. So she actually went to an auction and had it appraised. And the appraisal amount was $5,000.
Wow.
So
it's crazy because you think about where her headspace was at that time. It makes sense. Smartphones weren't a thing. iPhone was first of its kind. The big thing was apps. They were pushing apps, and at that time, you were happy if you had a phone with a camera on it. You were happy if you had a phone that could, just do your T9 texting.
Yep.
And you weren't trying to get on the internet. If you had it, you had it. If you didn't, we didn't know what we didn't know, right? And so it makes complete sense that she would be like, I already have a phone. I have a new phone. I don't need this phone. She didn't know what she was missing. Yeah. Now we're like, the thought of not having these things, the thought of not being able to just access, Google or Safari on my phone, or quickly look up something, or, hey, there has to be an app for this. I'm going to download it, right? Is insane.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy to think about now. So when I used to ride a dinosaur to school, and we used to write on stone tablets. Yeah. No, I'm not that old. But I do remember having the first Nokia brick.
Yep.
The indestructible Nokia brick.
I was there with the snake game.
The snake game. There were a few times that we upgraded, and so I had a few different phones. And it got to the point where I had a BlackBerry. And so you just see the evolution of these phones to now.
Yes.
There are literally virtually no buttons on these things. And it used to only be buttons. Our kids today will never understand the struggle of having to hit the 5 button 3 or 4 times to make sure that you get the right letter. Dude. And if you didn't, you had to run through the gauntlet again.
Yep. I will say, now, I'm not avid at this now, but early on in my adult life, I was a texter and driver. But I will say this, Mom, is that I got very good at looking at the road and with my right hand being able to get that T9 down.
You knew how many times you had to hit it.
Exactly. I had it down. I sent very many of texts, important text messages.
Yeah.
That potentially saved lives. I don't know. And and so that T9 was no joke. I would love to see. I love those videos they show where they bring it's like a kid or a teenager, like they bring them like a cassette player, and they're like and a like a Walkman and a cassette, and say, okay, what do you think this is? Yeah. Or the funniest one is they brought them like a cassette like in the case, and the kids couldn't figure out. They're like, what? I don't know what to do. Like, I don't even know how to open this. So I've
seen those videos. I've seen. I have recently kind of just tried it out on my kids. Yeah. And I'm like, hey guys, how do you answer the phone? I'm like, if you were to pretend to answer the phone, how would you do it? Us as the older generation, we pick it up. We got the thumb and the pinky out, and we're like, hey, it's a receiver. Like, and then you even actually physically pick it up off of the my kids now are like, I go like this. And I'm like, wait, what? And they go, yeah, it's you grab the phone and you go like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's it. We've crossed over. We're in the upside down.
They will never
understand.
I recently was or a few months ago I was my daughter, my 15-year-old and her other 15-year-old friend were talking about she was talking about her grandma. She's like, I went to my grandma's house, and she has all these tapes on like the DCR. What is it called? She was like, she couldn't remember VCR. I was like, those tapes, the things that it was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was my childhood.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So my mom reminded me of a story that which it didn't come to me last week. We were talking about VCRs and rewinding and all the crimes that were committed for those who didn't rewind. I was, when I was a kid, would stick pennies into my grandma's VCR.
Nice, good for you.
Yeah, I just. Yeah, thank you. Good for me. And, so my grandma had to take the VCR into, I guess, the VCR repairman. That was a job, probably.
Yeah, that was a job, yeah.
And they probably thought they were never going to go out of business. And then DVDs came about. They're like, that's never going to take off.
Nope.
And,
what was the really big, like, almost like record-sized discs. Do you remember those?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what they're called.
Oh, man. Anyway, if you know what it is and you're watching this video, let us know in the comments because I cannot remember what it is.
Yeah.
I just remember that we had at school, there was a thing. The other thing is I remember my grandpa, who's since passed away, so you can't come after him, government. But what he would do is he would rent a movie. Okay, he would rent a movie. He had a double VHS.
Go. The Hustle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he loved his video. Whatever he rented, he would put it in one side and he would record it on the other side. It would go. And he sent me to he would have me go check a few times. Hey, we go to make sure that's recording, make sure it's still going, make sure it didn't stop, make sure it didn't eat the tape. And I'd go down there and be like, yeah, so I felt like an accomplice. I felt like an accomplice to a crime, and man alive, I just tell you what,
pirating is not a
victimless
crime.
Yeah.
You should feel ashamed.
And
they can't come after him, but they can come after you.
That's fine. Listen, it's not a victimless crime, but I tell you what, it doesn't hurt you crying in your Lamborghini.
Okay. Yeah, you got him there. I think I appreciate the hustle, and you're reminding me now of other things that I never did that. But do you remember how you were able to record stuff from your TV? So like if you had it set up correctly and your VCR was connected to your TV, you could push record and it would record whatever's playing on TV, because this was the day before things like DVR existed. Things like, that we had reruns, but it just wasn't as easy and accessible. Whereas like, I could just watch that later. I could stream it later.
Yeah.
I could go on, iTunes or whatever or Amazon and buy it for $3.99. Like, no, I remember staying up. There was a Disney movie called Brink. And there's a rollerblader movie or inline skating movie, and I loved this movie. And I realized like, they play it at a certain time, and then they play it again, like at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna stay
East Coast time. You had to replay at East Coast time.
So I stayed up and recorded that bad boy. I was like, and I had that one and a couple other ones. Anyways, dude, those man.
Yeah, man. I don't know how we got here from an iPhone, but this has been fun. Another memory that I have is I had a police officer relative who worked in a state in the southern part of the western United States. And they would confiscate illegal cable boxes.
Oh.
And then they couldn't do anything with them, so they would give them to family. Hey, yo! So we got one of those, and I remember having the pay-per-view channel for free,
bro.
All of the Showtime, Cinemax, like all of those illegal paid-for channels that you used to have to the before having to subscribe to channels
only your fancy white friends had.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were those illegal Mexicans in both ways.
Dude, you are incriminating yourself in so many ways.
So come at
me. If I remember, it was a cable. So before you could just like tell Charter or whatever it was.
Yeah, I want
cable.
Showtime,
it
Stars,
was a
whatever.
box.
It was a box.
I'm remembering this now.
Channel 1.
Okay, and so your uncle or your family or whatever would confiscate those, and then it had whatever access to the channels, and you would just all you have to do is plug it in.
All you have to do is plug it in, coax cable to the back, and call it good. Yeah, absolutely. I remember
like Merry Christmas.
I remember being at his house. And I would watch like these like just all kinds of movies, just whatever was out in the movie theater.
Dope.
Was that on pay-per-view?
Dope.
They had all the boxing, all the everything, wrestling, whatever's on pay-per-view had it for free.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I say if you got it, you got it. I mean that. Hey, that's. I'm just curious. Like people, you guys, like your uncle's out here just stealing so much joy from these people, just to give joy to his own family.
Yep. Yeah. Listen, sometimes you got to rob Peter to pay Paul. You know.
Okay. I don't know if that's biblical, but moving on. So before you get into any more trouble, so this is a story I saw that I thought it was funny. So a dude is currently suing Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Okay, in Illinois. He is not too happy with their boneless chicken wings because he says,
who is, right?
It's true. But he's saying they're not actually chicken wings, they're just chicken nuggets that they cover in some sauce.
Isn't that what a boneless wing is? Is a chicken nugget?
I don't know. He's kind of onto something though, because then he in the story it also talked about like Domino's, like they have a wing that's kind of the same.
Yeah.
And I guess and there was another place as well, but I guess if you really think about it, like those are just like larger nuggets that are covered in sauce.
And the same sauce as the wings, just without bones.
I mean, I guess people have sued for less.
Absolutely.
I've never been so angry at like, wait, hold on. I can't imagine him sitting at the restaurant and he orders these wings and he has an image in his brain of what he's going to get. And he's eating and he's like, hold on. No, like I'm suing these suckers. I'm so unhappy.
And if you debone a wing,
Okay.
You don't necessarily like get a nut. It doesn't like the meat doesn't come off in a nugget. It comes off in like shards. So what do you want them to do? Would you rather them debone the wing and just give you the shredded chicken meat, or do you want them to get you a chicken nugget and call it a boneless wing? And here's the thing. If you're going to Buffalo Wild Wings and you're ordering boneless wings to begin with, you should be arrested.
You should go to jail.
You should just not be at Buffalo Wild Wings.
I know. There's so many things that you could do, and suing shouldn't be one of them.
Your first option should be standing up and walking out the door.
Yes.
Here's the thing too: is I've had zero good out of. I'd say a good handful of times I've been to Buffalo Wild Wings. I'd say 0 of them were a good experience. I get cold wings every time I go there.
I would sue because of that.
Right?
That's a suable offense.
That's a suable,
Lawyer up, Better Call Saul. I would get in there and say, we're going after
That's the guy I need.
For cold wings, take him to the bank. He also sold or tried to sue rather, Hefty Bags, so the garbage bag company.
Because John Cena didn't deliver his bags to his house.
Like, I was promised buff white guy.
John Cena. But I can't see him.
I can't see him. So yeah, that would have been the proper response from Hefty. But he said something about the bags said they're recyclable, but they're not recyclable. He tried to sue Tom's mouthwash, and he tried to sue Kind Granola. I think this guy doesn't really have an issue with these things. I think he's just trying to get a bag.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember watching this video of this guy who says that he gets hired on places, finds safety issues.
I saw this.
Finds safety issues and sues them for those safety issues. He does whatever it is that he sees is not right, and then he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And then he sues them and he's collected millions.
I'm not even mad at it.
I thought he wrote a book. I was waiting to buy the book.
I'm gonna work for him.
Yeah, what do I sign up, man?
Right.
Would you take resumes? Like, just hit us up. Yeah, between Sundays pod at gmail.com. Hit us up.
Yeah, dude. I think like I always appreciate a good hustle because that hustle's not really hurting anybody. You know, I just think like he found a loophole and he's just
exposing it.
Yeah. And if these companies, because there's some of them were larger companies too.
Yeah.
If they're too dumb to not close that hole, then they deserve to, because he's getting like, 10, 20 grand at a time. It's not like these large chunks of money. I mean, I guess that's a pretty significant amount, but it's not like $1 million every time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You say that as like a Fortune 500 company or whatever that they've got money.
They're like 10 grand. Sure. Shut up. You should take it. Move on.
So at that point, they're almost giving money away just so that way they don't have to deal with you any longer.
Right.
You're like, what do you want? $1 million? Okay, fine. Just shut up and go away.
Right. It begs the question, what at my job I could do to get a bag from them? Considering
I tell you what. Yeah, considering you work at a nonprofit.
They'd be like, bro.
Yeah, what you would end up getting is a cot in the bag.
We have the place just for you, sir.
Just listen. Here you go. Enjoy. Yeah. Is that another seltzer water, by the way?
This is not seltzer water. So this is called Olipop. We're not sponsored, but we're open to it. And this is a sparkling tonic. All right? This is...
like the kind of stuff you just mix with gin? Dude! We're in a church, bro.
It's good for your digestive system, so I'll be a little gassy throughout the pod. But no.
Hey yo.
Edit it out in post. But no. I was gonna bring a seltzer water, but last week my feelings were hurt a little bit because you made fun of it, so I brought something a little healthier.
Still making fun of it. Still make fun of it. All right, we got a last story.
Okay,
our last story. This is a weird one. So
before you start, have you ever done anything like this in your sleep? Like not this extreme, but like you thought you did it, and then you did it.
Other than like
pee.
Well,
yeah, sure.
That's about the extent of it.
You never like punched your wife in your sleep?
I did. Oh, I did one time. But I used to be. It was up until we had kids. I used to be a wild sleeper,
right?
To the point where I would literally like push myself up and flip around. It's weird. It was a problem. And so I did that one time, and I flipped around, and I had a fist, and I popped her in the face, and I was like, oh my God. I woke up out of a dead sleep and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Oh my. And I'm literally like almost in tears. I felt so, she's like, oh. And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm going to jail.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah. Well,
spoiler alert, you were awake and you were just.
I literally was
sleeping.
Like, I was like, I'm going to get her. I'm going to get her. The argument. That's right. Yeah, we had an argument. Yeah, I'm going to get her.
Let's go to sleep, babe.
Shh.
We don't condone domestic violence.
No, we do not.
However, if you're accidentally sleeping
and you
accidentally
get punched in the face, then you need to apologize to your spouse immediately.
Okay.
Shed a tear. It'll make them feel that much worse about it.
So, okay, we'll tell this story. This wasn't a sleeping one, but I elbowed my wife in the face on an airplane.
Oh,
that's the end of the story.
You had witness. I was in my own bed. No witnesses. Safety.
So I think we were flying back home, and we were in the very back of the plane because we're #poor.
Yeah.
That's not even hashtag. We're just poor. Period. So
that is fully going in a hashtag on this episode.
I want to say this might have been our first or second flight ever together. And so we were trying to figure out how to pull the armrest up. I don't know if there was a button we weren't finding or what was happening, but we're both trying to figure it out. And I just pull with everything in me, and I think it comes up or my arm slips. I don't know. Either way, all I know is elbow to the face, and kind of the same thing you did. I wasn't as sorry as you, though, because she was being kind of mean to me that trip. And so that's a joke.
So
but,
she deserved it. You deserved that.
Anyways, enough about hitting our wives. Tell the story.
None of this has to do with hitting your significant other. We just absolutely incriminated ourselves on this episode.
I thought you were going to say we just love hitting our wives.
So this episode will not come out.
That would be the title of the episode. We love hitting our wives. No, it's not.
It's the opposite of Bruno Mars. Jesus #blessed. It's hashtag physical abuse. No, so there was a lady who was asleep. Okay, and she had this dream that her and her husband were running away from these bad people on a bullet train. And her husband told her, "You need to swallow your ring in order to be safe." And so she took her ring off and swallowed her ring. This is all in this dream, right? And so she woke up and she's like, "Oh my gosh, oh, what a weird dream. Yeah. That's crazy." Yeah. So she went back to sleep, and then she woke up the next day to look at her hand and realize that her wedding ring was actually gone. And so...
Where did it go?
Where did it go? Her husband took it and got it cleaned. What a good guy. No, so they ended up they went to the ER, to just make sure.
Okay, because she thought maybe.
She thought potentially it was a possibility.
Okay.
Because of the dream, and then it was just weird. It was a weird coincidence.
Right.
So they went just to make sure, just to check, just to, be on the same page. And come to find out, there was an old wedding ring in there, just hanging out, just blinging away in her little tum-tum. Yeah, and sure enough. And so as given to us in previous episodes, 24 hours, will you marry me?
Papoo.
Yeah.
Wait, did she pass it? I didn't read that part.
It didn't say if she did or not, but I'm only.
I mean,
I can only
look at
actually no. Actually, it did say how they got it out. I'm sorry, I don't remember how the story went. The doctors actually went and did an endoscopy and went and grabbed it out. So from the throat. So they went down the tummy, and with that, like, it's got a little claw thing on the end.
Claw machine?
Like how mechanics drop a tool and they got that little claw machine thing. So I mean, here's the thing: is this is a surgery for you? I mean, claw machine, 100%.
I missed my calling.
You are.
I would have been like, dude, 50, let me get in there.
You got a 50-50 shot. You're gonna hire me. You got a 50-50 shot. I'm gonna snatch this bad boy up.
But hold on. So she chose to go do that, which is low-key one of my biggest fears, is to ever have anything like that has to go down my throat into me. Like, just pray that never happens to me. She chose to do that rather than just poop it out.
I think that was not necessarily, they didn't give her a choice. It was like, hey, we need to get this out, or do you want us to get this out? And she said yes.
Okay.
I don't think she thought farther enough in the future to where she thought, oh yeah, I can get this out if I just
for free.
Yeah. I just take a couple laxatives.
Yeah.
Bada walk bing, around. Bada bing, bada boom. Poo poo.
Poo poo ring. I mean, how do you look at your ring the same after that? I feel like no amount of cleaning, you'd just be like, this was inside of me.
Well, I don't know if it's worse that it was inside of you, or if you had to actually pass it, and then you think, oh, look at this. My husband married my piece of poo, because that's the wedding ring. Those are our vows right there on that bad boy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, more power to her, I guess. I think, for me, that thing's just going to come out. And I might, honestly, I mean, I know I care less about my ring than I would my wife's. I would just be like, yeah, that ring's gone. We'll get a new one.
Yeah. Actually, I did lose my original wedding ring. This is a second wedding ring. I lost mine, not in my stomach. I lost mine in this little town called Washougal. If you're from the Vancouver area in Southwest Washington,
we're narrowing down where we are every episode.
I know. I have family there. We were visiting. That's all. That's all.
A few places where we're kind of narrowing down.
We could be in Florida. I could have flown there. Nobody knows.
Okay.
But we were in this little town called Washougal, and we were in the Washougal River having fun. It was a hot day. The water was ice cold. So
as most Washington water is. Not saying we're in Washington, but
if we did live in Washington and we did happen to know, that's how that works. So what happened was my sister-in-law convinced me as a larger man to boogie board down this Washougal River. And I thought, that sounds like a good idea. Well, my large body didn't float, and so it sank. And so I'm paddling along, la, 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 la. Well, I happened to go like this and feel the cold water shrink my finger and it fluttered out. I went to my wife sobbing because I to me, I felt like that was our, like, this is our love. This is our connection. I chose this. You bought this for me.
Yeah.
You know, I bought your rings and not, you know, all this stuff. And it's just, it was like, so if I do recall correctly, this is our first Amazon purchase. Absolutely. I don't think I understand either, Siri. You don't need to. Do you change the voice of your Siri, or do you leave it as the original?
I like, New Zealand. I like a New Zealand Siri.
That's that one. Yeah. I think I think Australian. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of the British one. Yeah. Not a big fan of the American one. Definitely not a fan of the dude. I don't know, some dude telling me what to do. Like, you're not the boss of me. Yeah. It's like I feel like as the woman's voice on there, I just feel at home.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels right taking orders from a woman.
Well,
as a married man.
And it's a soft tone instead of like, hey, go do that. Not that my wife sounds like that. But some wives
I've heard it.
This podcast is getting us into all types of trouble.
We are in legal trouble. We're in marital trouble.
I might get punched in the face tonight.
Might get punched in the face tonight. I might get punched in other areas tonight. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Oh, man.
But those are our stories for today.
I think we did it.
We did it.
All right.
That was it. That's the last one. So if you're listening to this, like and subscribe. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. We're on YouTube. If you are an Apple iTunes podcast
Which you
listener,
lie. It's way more on Spotify. It's not 50-50. I looked.
It is. Yeah, it is. I did too. I looked too. It's 80-20. Yeah, it's 80. It's significantly.
You and one other 50-year-old person.
Well, we got a 4%, 60 plus demographic, which potentially could be that 20%.
Yeah. Which might. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. Go ahead.
So, if you like video and you want to see Eric's beautiful face, because I know you're not going to subscribe for mine. You want to see where these dulcet tones are coming from, you can go to YouTube and Spotify and watch the video there.
I just imagine your
TikTok,
aunt,
Instagram.
Your aunt, your tia, being like, "Oh, mijo, don't say that. We love you."
What I love about it is that's my tia, right?
Yeah,
that's my tia.
Yeah.
If you're not Hispanic, that means aunt.
Yeah.
Again, I don't speak Spanish.
We're barely Hispanic.
I don't. Yeah. That is about how that's as Hispanic as I get.
Yeah.
Is I have tios and tias.
Yeah.
But that lady is one of the whitest people I know.
Like complexion wise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. She's actually half white, half native.
Okay.
Or part native. And so anyway, but she did marry my uncle, and so that's how she became my tia. And so.
Well, thanks,
yeah,
tia.
Man. Thanks
to
tia.
all the tias.
Yeah. Tia, share it, man. Listen, if you share this bad boy and you do more work than my mom, we'll make you famous.
Yes, well, we love tia's t-shirts.
Yes, with your face blurred out because
All your family.
My whole family is blurred out.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I tell you what. If you wanna be a part of our merch, start commenting. You potentially could be the next. We love Tom with his face blurred out.
We love Tom.
We love Tom.
I mean, there's so many things
I've
I
never
say
met
about Tom.
I've never met Tom, but his accuracy in saying who I am and who I look like, I just know me and Tom would be really good friends.
Yeah. I mean, I think I could see that for sure. Tom is also the worst, so we pray for you.
He's the best and the worst.
The best and the worst, but we love
well,
you,
he
Tom.
lives in San Diego, so he can't be all that.
Not
great.
quite, but yes.
I'm a surfer dude. That's just imagine San Diego.
He's from the Northwest, actually. I got to give him some props, but he's California.
So then he sups. He's a supper.
What? I don't know what that is.
Stand-up paddleboard?
I don't know. He might be.
Oh, right. Well,
supper? That's a thing?
Yeah, man. Sup.
Stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah.
Okay, what's up?
Sup. Yeah. We can go sup. Sup.
All right. I think we did it.